Hello, welcome to another episode of Somewhere Between a film and TV podcast. We're your host. I am Daniel Parr.
And I'm Erwin Trejo.
And number one, thank you so much for listening
and
watching.
It looked like for a second you were going to headbutt the microphone. Like,
thank you.
I was like, whoa.
Number two, what are they going to do?
They're going to like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do. What we like to do here is we watch movies and we watch TV shows. And we review them. Imagine you got out of a movie. I'm not gonna get to it yet. I think you can feel it coming. And then,
dude, I'm sorry. Every time you say imagine, I just want to say dragons.
Yeah, every single time.
Can you please use another synonym for imagine?
Think about. Okay. I don't like that.
I just can't. Please don't use that word.
Are you gonna restrict me on the words I can and cannot say?
Oh, really? Because you don't do that with me.
I don't want to get into this. So occasionally what we like to do is we talk about movies. Imagine that you just got out of the theater with your friend and you're watching this. Think about you getting out of a movie with your friends and watching it. You'll get off topic.
I don't have friends.
I have family. But you'll circle.
What was that cover? The Blu-ray cover?
Oh, fuck.
Not all races.
Not all races can be one or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, why is that not in the movie? We'll get off topic, but we'll circle back around.
Like a tractor.
Everything we review has full spoilers. And this one is interesting because I'm curious what Erwin thinks of it and what he thinks that this movie's about. We are reviewing CUCKOO. I don't know why you keep saying it the way that you do, but
CUCKOO?
yeah. Like,
oh, I think as I see the word cuck, and then I'm like,
that's
CUCKOO?
Cool.
Cuckoo.
Yeah.
Cuckoo.
So,
Cuckoo.
this movie.
Cuckoo.
Can I go? I'm gonna do it now. I'm
Cuckoo.
sorry. I'm gonna do it right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right now? Okay.
I have a message for the people of the world. If you talk out loud during a movie, if you get on your phone, if you think that it's cool to talk and speak at a maximum volume of your voice, I want you to know something. I don't want to hear you, and neither does anyone else. Your input does not mean anything, and I wish the very worst on you.
I'm gonna
take
this out of context.
The reason why I bring this up, and everyone's already annoyed because he heard my whole audio message on this yesterday, and I don't know why. I don't know if because movies are like my favorite thing in the world, that I have to deal with the worst theater experiences in the world. But the thing was, I was like, dude, I feel like I need to see this movie again, but I also got the point of it because I was like, you know what sucks is I wanted to genuinely I didn't want to walk out because of the movie itself. I wanted to walk out because of this lady next to me that kept speaking out loud. And during the trailers, it's fine. I get it. I understand. But the thing is, whenever the movie actually starts, I don't know if I told you this, but you know how Alma has the pre-show thing where it's like, don't speak, don't talk. And then they say it, I think 4 times. And it's a lot. And then
Godzilla would use his atomic breath on you.
Yeah,
you were talking.
And then everybody laughs. And then, I remember what she was like, ooh, that's scary. Out loud, she said this. And I was like, I fucking hate you. And she was doing that pretentious, weird thing where you're being condescending to the server. I know this has nothing to do with the movie. Bear with me. And this guy was looking for mimosas on the menu or whatever because they were trying to order all this stuff. And then he was like, is that everything? This woman ordered a lot.
Was this before the movie?
A lot of this was before the movie.
Okay.
But he didn't bring out a lot of it until during the movie.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, hang on, I'm not seeing this on the menu. And she was like, you can do it. I think you can do it. I believe in you. And I was like, I hate
to the guy?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
And I was like, I hate when people do that. Yeah. I hate when they talk to servers like this. And I'm like, he's just doing his job. And the guy even said, he was like, I'm the only person running this theater.
Yes.
I'm sorry. And then I noticed this. They ordered, she was like, yeah, we're going to do the truffle popcorn. And the only reason why I caught on to this was because she kept talking. So I know exactly what this woman sounded like.
I see.
And I thought this is the weirdest detail of this entire situation was I noticed that this guy kept trying to eat the food, and she kept going on and saying no, and then she would directly feed this food directly into his mouth, and not let him actually touch it.
If only you could do that to me.
People want things in the world that they can't really have. And whoa. But then this guy...
Look, yeah. I can read into things, okay?
Uh-huh.
I don't understand what you mean. So you're not going to feed me food?
It's like me during this movie. It's like, what? I can read into stuff, but what's this about? Like, no, but then the guy... I'm gonna demonstrate this to you. He like reached in to grab the popcorn, and then she went, "No!" like directly to him.
Damn.
During this. It was so strange. She like slapped him on the hand.
How old were they?
This woman looked like our age. Okay. That guy, I never saw what he looked like, but this lady looked like our age.
Okay.
And I noticed that at a point, like she spilled cheese all over her leg, and then she was like, "I'm sorry, Karma," but like and then she started sobbing out loud. This is during the movie.
What do you mean sobbing?
Like crying.
Like genuinely crying?
Like crying out loud.
Wow.
Like really loud. Yeah. And I don't know. Like I know you can report people at Alma, but I was like, I think this lady's crazy. I don't. And
cuckoo.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there's a point in this movie where they reveal something, how like they want to impregnate people that don't belong to them. Mm-hmm. And then she out loud was like, "Oh, they're raw dogging them." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I was like, "Why did you say that?" Yeah. And then during the third act, I'm very grateful that I could hear her snoring so loud, because at least it meant that she could stop fucking talking. And I was over it by then. I was like, she was asleep, and I was like, I'm leaving before I have to hear anything else, like out of this lady, because I had a feeling like she's gonna get mad at whatever situation she's got going on with that guy.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe you made me miss the rest of that movie, because I was so confused. And like I don't know. So this has nothing to do with the movie, but I'm telling you this to say I thought still that this movie was great, and it's like I had to deal with all of this.
There's gonna be people in the comments going, "Why did you go on a rant about something nothing about the movie?"
Because I need people to fucking correct themselves when they go to the movies. Stop getting on your phone. You paid $15 to be there. Why? And then they're like, well, it's my right, that I'm able to go and check this because I paid for my ticket. Yeah, you know what? So did I. So did everyone else that knows how to understand how to be in a fucking theater. You weirdo. So, Erwin.
Have some etiquette, guys. I'm grateful that I haven't had an experience like that. So.
Yeah. I had a lot. My favorite one was during a Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I won't tell this story. We're going to move on. But I had a couple break up next to me. That was really funny.
Oh, man. That's insane.
Yeah. They kept ordering food, and she kept going, we ordered a lot of food. And she was like crying too. I don't know why that keeps happening to me. But
all these patterns.
So, Erwin, the film... Now that we have this out of the way, I know
let's explain what this movie is. Or like, more so like... the story, like what it's about.
So I do want to get into our whole, what were you anticipating going into this?
I didn't know what this movie's about whatsoever. I was just confused on the title, and then what the trailer showed me. I was like, "Cool, I see no birds."
I mean, this movie's about birds, kind of.
Yeah.
I had seen a shot of this movie. This movie was finished forever ago.
Really?
Like, yeah.
When?
I want to say same thing as like Borderlands, like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. And then like with the writer strike and everything.
I think so. I'm not really sure what set it back. I don't know if they were like, "Hey, this is kind of hard to market," but Neon is taking big swings this year. I think they're becoming.
Call us a baseball.
I think they're becoming. They're becoming an even bigger sort of sense of we are at liberty to try really weird new things. Because this movie is sort of enveloped in a sense of horror and sci-fi and multiple different genres.
English glasses?
Sort of mashed together. I'm not even wearing mine right now.
I'm sorry.
But there was a shot that's been around forever. And it's the one where she's hiding behind the bookshelf. Or was it a bookshelf or the hospital? Like whenever the lady walks in. Hunter Schafer.
Oh, and it's like the very end of the movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the promotion still.
Oh, it was?
For like forever.
Oh,
it was the only thing people had seen from this movie for like a really long time.
Okay.
And just knew it was a horror movie.
Yes.
That was it. But going into this, I thought that trailer was really cool. Mm-hmm. It didn't sell what it was about at all. I don't think you can without really ruining a twist or something that's in this.
Yeah, I agree.
Or a reveal. Mm-hmm. But you told me that you have a lot of questions about this.
Yes.
I do feel like I have answers despite everything in my experience.
That's right, because you know everything.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Why does this keep happening to me? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But before we fully get into that, what did you think of this movie?
Overall, I thought this movie was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it? That's it?
I don't know. I don't know if I didn't want to say I didn't have any expectations, but I did feel I was underwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's just because of the way this movie was executed. Of course, like, I've thought about this movie a lot and started to understand a little bit more what this movie is. Maybe it's because I took a lot of things just very face value.
Like when I saw the TV glow.
Yes, that too. So it kind of gives me that. But I think this movie I like more for sure than I saw the TV glow.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen I saw the TV glow again after us talking about it.
Yeah.
But this one, overall, like, I can see why I would like it. There's not a lot of things I disliked about it. It's just a lot of things where I just like, oh, that was okay.
Yeah. So I thought this was really good. I thought it definitely leaned more into style over substance.
Yes.
I like 100%. So once the third act gets into what it gets into, I was sort of like, this movie has enough depth to be about something, but also if it straight up was about nothing, I mean, it's cool to look at. Yes. I think it has. I'll tell you right now why I thought it reminded me of The Shining. It has. This movie's like an hour 40, but it felt like a slow burn kind of. It was
definitely a slow burn for me.
And but the thing is, I really enjoyed how kind of off-kilter funny it was. I thought Hunter Schafer gave a really great performance.
Yes.
So I didn't mind anything I saw her doing in this. It was more so like, who was hard to root for? Her like little sister, because I was like, she's just a dick. I was like, she's like.
Well, it's just when you understand, because my thing was like understanding on why the sister became like such a integral part of the movie. But then my person, I was like, at first I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna root for this guy, but then eventually I was like, I don't care about this guy.
The detective.
Yeah. I just didn't care.
There was a point where I was like, did I miss something? Because maybe I might have, but I was like, why is he like just making weird choices like this?
Right? Because I was thinking, it feels like you're trying to do the right thing, but it feels selfish for some reason. And until it was revealed later on the reasons why he's doing what he's doing too.
There's a moment towards the end that's not really earned whenever Hunter Schafer's character is like, did you also promise your wife you'd protect her? I was like, I feel like this movie doesn't get to earn that plot point.
Let's talk about, I think the one thing that got me confused. Yeah. Like once the movie was over, but I had to like really reflect on what it was and like what the point of like this whole, because at the end, like, this was like an experiment. An experiment and something that Dan Stevens' character wanted to continue on, whereas I think it's just like the whole like preservation of a certain species. Right. Species being as that one woman that was supposed to be like the horror villain in a sense.
Yeah, and honestly, she just kind of like acted like an animal, right?
Yeah, because she's a mother. She's like the mom of the, I guess, like what the bird species may be.
Yeah, the cuckoo.
Cuckoo.
Yeah.
So, and I guess that mother-esque creature thing, I guess the main thing that she does where she impregnates like other women.
Oh yeah,
but she does it in
that visual detail where she's like grabbing her. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And just to create more of the same type of species. So I guess because I was looking it up too, where I was just like, wait, why is this bird thing such a big deal? Yeah, and
well, they say it. They say it in the movie.
Yeah, I guess I must have skipped it because it was just it felt slow sometimes to me. And so I was just like, okay, and guessing just based off the species of those birds that they leave their because they did say that now I'm just remember
they were like, do you know why this bird is famous? Like,
they leave their eggs in another bird's nest. So I guess the similarities of that showcasing it and all, but I think just the way it was executed a lot of times in here, I just didn't really.
I think so. What has you really confused? Like what that means, or?
I think. No, I don't know. Maybe because I just didn't really look deep into it. Yeah. To be honest, I just took it like I said, face value. And I guess it's a bird. Yeah. But not understanding why this scientist was so hell bent on just keeping this species.
The reason why is because Dan Stevens is playing into an archetype of the mad scientist.
Okay.
I think they intentionally gave him that accent to have you associate with the whole idea of, all right, this guy, no matter what, is insistent on this because he is a German mad scientist. They even have that guy from Amazing Spider-Man 2 who's like the crazy scientist in that. I was like, who is that guy? I was like, oh my God, that's that dude. Makes sense. Yeah. So I think that this movie's about a couple different things. I told you earlier. I think that also it's only about these things on surface like level. I don't think that this movie's necessarily even trying to be deep. Okay. I think it's genuinely just trying to be cool. And
because I do get the whole style. Yeah. Because surface level thing, I don't know. I just didn't really care so much. Yes, I cared about Hunter Schafer, like she was doing a great job, like for the performance and everything. But overall, I think just her character alone, it was so hard for me to care about her because just because in the very beginning, like I feel like the first half it was just so many selfish reasons, not understanding why she would be doing certain things.
It's funny you say that because that's actually where I think one of my strengths comes from in terms of this. You are following not the most likable person in the world here. You're following somebody that's like, they even mentioned that she's what, like 17 or 18?
Yes.
I think they intentionally made the focal point of this movie a selfish teenager for a reason.
Yes.
Because this movie's whole point is supposed to be about trying to control, I think it's about a few different things, but I also think it's about trying to control your kid as a strict parent. I got that out of it because something I really liked that was a recurring detail in this is anytime that someone would mess up and Dan Stevens didn't want that, he would switch it, right? Or like the lady, the thing like the pulsing beat, it would switch and it would go backwards, and then that beat would repeat until the thing that they wanted to happen would happen. And
I thought the beat only happened was because the lady, she would do that in order to protect whoever she was trying to protect during that time. Yeah. Right? So whenever she notices like something isn't going right, or like she's trying to protect the little girl, because I guess eventually in the movie you would find out that the little girl is related to the woman. Yeah. And she wants to protect her youngling. Yeah. Basically. And so she would use that vocally just to protect her, but also to like show her like the compatibility between one of them as well.
Now that might be true, but I still think that at the end of that, the whole reason for that even happening is because of still at the end of it, whether we got at like that it's about trying to course correct your kid or it's about also trying to aid your kid. It's still essentially about that animalistic, which we talked about like in a different movie, of trying to protect your children. Yes. And the other thing I think that this is about is that whole idea of your children feeling like they're sort of lost in the whole idea of like step parents. I got that out of it because of Hunter Schafer's like displacement while she's missing her mom. And I think that whole idea of the American family, but then she doesn't fit into it because she can't be controlled and be rebellious and selfish. And that's why I think she makes all those choices. It's more of a positive for me because I saw what they were going for with it. But you are also like, this is not the most likable person in the world.
Because I mean, I started to like her more at the very like halfway through the movie. And it was just because she was trying. Once the audience finds out like what these creatures are and what Gretchen is trying to do in the movie instead, and especially when she's trying to save her sister, and I'm like, okay, I really like her now.
The reveal of what they were doing, I don't know if it's because this movie was marketing itself as a mystery a little bit, but I was kind of like, I'm not going to say underwhelmed either. I was just like, oh, this is way more like matter of fact than I guess I thought it would be.
But I guess because I was like, afterwards, I was like, okay, so this resort is just a place where women would be brought to just to be pregnant with these creatures.
That's the other thing it's about. It's also about this whole idea that women have no kind of like, we just need them to birth these like people or like children or whatever, monsters, whatever the fuck they are.
Yes. But then they would have to come back with those children in order for the mom to connect with them.
Right, yeah.
Like they act as the actual mom, in a sense, because I was confused. Like, who is that girl?
Oh, whenever they're like, "That's not your sister," which I thought was a really great repeated line from earlier.
Because that makes sense. I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense now." Mm-hmm. But I was just thinking of like who that woman was whenever Gretchen gets stuck in that room.
Oh, right.
And whenever she gets to the facility and everything. Yeah. And I was like, who is that? And it's just, I guess I'm assuming it's another woman who got pregnant. Right?
Yeah, there's like this one kind of off detail that they don't really even like, they show it and then that's it.
I was thinking, is it supposed to be the detectives?
Like, they imply wives, right? Something like that, right?
I think because I got left with more questions because then afterwards too, I was thinking, where did the dad of Gretchen and the stepmom go?
That I couldn't really answer for you. I think that the way they acted about everything, though, I was just kind of like, I think these people just like are happy here, and then they like refuse to.
I think the stepdad is like, he knows what's going on, for sure, because that makes me think, it's like, what about the actual mom, too?
But the thing is, they don't give these actors enough to do or time to even really give us a clue into what they're thinking. Like there's a couple moments where he seems stressed out. The wife, Jessica Henwick, also seems stressed out. And you're like, okay, but like why? And it's hard to explain what this movie, I know what it's doing, but I think itself, keep in mind, I thought this was really good, but I also thought that it didn't give itself nearly enough, either explain less or explain more.
Oh wait, tell me about your positives then. Like,
okay. Yeah. So I thought, again, the style in this was great. I thought that it had this really, I love the alpine look of it, the greenery, the sort of, I don't know if it was shot on film, but it has this very distinct look. It kind of has this sort of haze around it. It's supposed to make you feel as if you're somewhere that is a kind of unrealness to it. And I get that because it does feel like that. I thought the off-kilter humor, I thought this movie was quite funny in a really odd way. I kind of wish that this wasn't in the trailer because it was so well executed. Was this one scene where she's on her bike. And she's like, and then the shadows, it's so effective. There's multiple scenes like this that I think are so well done.
I love the use of the headphones.
Yes, as well. Yeah. And that whole setup about the music. Yes. Where
Gretchen gets like, no, music's good.
Yeah. Yeah. But then you realize later it's because...
Yeah, and how Dan Stevens' character is saying, no, music's not good.
Yeah. Okay, another thing. The performances. Dan Stevens is amazing in this movie. He's a great actor. He's a great actor. I would kind of like... I want him to blow up, but he keeps like...
You want him to die?
No, I don't want him to explode. I want Dan Stevens dead.
Hey, did you find that funny?
What you just said?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh. Jokes supporting jokes.
Go back to our previous review to see what we say about that.
Reed's yelling at you.
It's like, friends don't support. The other thing is, I thought the atmosphere in this was great until the third act turns into like straight up cartoon. Like
it did. But I don't know why. I think that's the point too, where I was like, I kind of like.
No, where can I tell you? No, that's a positive. That's like where I was like, this movie's mishmash of like tones and whatever the hell's going on. I liked it. It turns into sort of mad scientist. It just got over the top in a way that we like over the top things.
Yes.
When we say over the top, we hardly ever say that in a negative way.
Yes.
I know some people do. That's not us.
No.
It's interesting because I loved a lot of the ideas. Some of the execution I wish was a little bit better. And overall, I thought this was really good. But I mean, I have some negatives for this as well, for sure. But those are all my positives. I would also say that that's a negative because I just wanted more like of them to do. But what were your positives here?
My positives, some of them were just things that you said too.
Yeah.
But another positive for me was a lot of things that just connected back and forth. So like in the very beginning, where Gretchen is separated from like the family, and then at the very end. And because Gretchen doesn't want to sit in the back seat with her sister.
Oh yeah.
Because because a couple times she's like, she's not my sister.
Yeah, and that whole like line.
Yes. Back, and then at the very end, she's sitting in the back with her sister.
Yeah.
So I like that aspect a lot, and I think the usage of basically feeling like what's it called, Groundhog Day, over and over again.
Okay, thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah.
Like that's those scenes started happening alone. I really enjoyed it because it didn't feel like the characters were also going through it again. It felt like myself. I was like, wow, I'm watching the same thing again, and it's just like felt that
genuinely way. The way they pull that off, I thought was really clever. Yes. Because the first time they do it, I was straight up like, did the movie just
did something happen back there?
Yeah, no, I was like, was there like an error? And then I noticed that I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's like cool, because especially once they do it like the third time, you're like, what is happening now?
Yeah. So I caught on to this. The I don't know why I'm instantly, my brain was like, count how many times it happens. And then before like the thing happens, 3 times.
Yeah.
The first 2 times. And then a lot. The third time where they're in like the lover lounge thing. Because it like just kept going wrong over and over.
Yes.
And then whenever he's like, consider that your trial mistake last night or whatever. I thought that was cool. I don't know if it's supposed to be indicative of like third time's the charm, but then it's one of those movies where you're like, you're reading too much into it. But then you go, am I? Because I feel like this movie wants you to do this, but then I also feel like doesn't even give you enough to
and because it leaves you so many unanswered things as well. Because I was thinking, I was like, why does the women, before like they get impregnated by the cuckoo girl, like woman, everything, like they scratch their legs and they like, it feels like it's weird because like, why, it's like I guess they're getting ready, but why is that such a thing that they have to do? And so I was just curious about that aspect as well. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Some of them I think are just supposed to be details for you knowing what's going on.
Like what's going to happen.
Because, because he said something along the lines of like, you've witnessed this tradition 3 times now. Most people aren't even lucky enough to have seen one. And I just thought, I like zeroed in on that because I was like, that's such an interesting thing to say.
And it never expands.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's just, with this movie alone, I'm just left with so many questions.
Well, what other ones do you have?
I guess trying to understand, like when the girl was going through the whole, at the very beginning, the little sister, that she was going through that experience where it's just like the vibration, but she wasn't experiencing the whole repeat scene, right?
Her, the girl, the small girl. Yes. Yeah.
I was just confused on like why she wasn't going through like.
Because she's one of them herself, though, right?
But it wasn't developed yet.
Yeah.
Because she's only she's mute but not deaf.
No, but later on, don't they say that maybe it's because that you're supposed to set that up for later? Maybe it's like one of those things where you repeat this and you understand that, oh, that's why this character acts like this initially. Because I like one of the things I thought was weird is I just didn't understand why the little sister kept like hitting her older sister.
Oh yeah. Okay, and so I looked that up too.
No, you looked it up?
Yeah, because I was just like, why did that happen? Yeah. And I guess it was, they said like because of what you said earlier about the species of the bird. Yeah. And how they were trying to like just do a lot of like similar like,
are they trying to replicate the patterns of
like what the birds? Yes,
that makes sense. Okay.
So, and then ever since then, I was like, that a lot of things started to make sense. Yeah. And they said that once the cuckoo bird laid their nest in somebody else's, like another bird's nest, the baby bird would eventually, once it gets older, it becomes bigger, and then it would kill the other birds around it. Yeah. So they would push the other eggs away and everything just to have it where the other bird would raise that bird alone. And then the cuckoo would eventually come over and take over.
I did think at the end of it that they were sort of implying that, because the ear still twitches at the end, that what the mistake that was made was still keeping her small like sister alive in the first place initially. But then it was also kind of like, I mean, I don't think they're going to make a second one of these. But no, they don't. Like, why would they do that?
I can see a director's cut.
Oh, yeah.
But only if there were scenes that they recorded, but I don't know.
I think the movie that we got is very much the movie we got. Yeah. And it's not even, I admire what we got. I really did. I thought that, like, I kind of wish that there were more. It's funny.
Do you remember any scenes that they actually like explained more about the bird species itself?
Kind of. There's a few.
Okay, because maybe I need to watch it again then.
Because the detective even has one where he's like, you know this bird?
Yeah. I do remember that, yes.
because whenever he shows up, I actually kind of liked him. I thought it's funny he didn't get it. I don't know what my thing was with him.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. I was like, I was alright.
Yeah. Like I was like, he's cool. I don't need more levity in this movie. Like, because I thought they were like they used him for humor for too long, and then he like started making weird choices, and then I was like, I don't think you could just do that.
I thought with the scientists, it was supposed to be like this man versus nature thing too.
Yeah.
To me, at one point, it felt that way, but then it didn't. It was just very.
I think this movie ran into the issue of wanting to do so much and dipping itself into too many things that it didn't fully focus on more than one. Like I'll say the creature design for the lady, great.
It was great. But then once it was at the very end, the third act, and it was just what you said, like everyone was just killing everyone. And then I'm just like, okay. At this point, I'm like, I don't know who. Like, of course, I want Gretchen to stay alive and her sister. But the other three, I'm like, I feel like. And they could all three of them just go at one another. Yeah. And when they cut away, and you don't know, and the guns fly off. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know who lived or who died, or maybe both died, maybe they both lived. I don't know.
No, the whole implication where they like shoot each other and it cuts off. I thought that whole like really fast edit was cool, but then I was like, didn't he just get shot earlier and lived?
Yeah. So, I was like, I don't know what could happen.
No, it was funny because with that though, I don't know why. There was a line in that scene where I was like, why do I feel so fucking dumb? It was whenever Dan Stevens was like, you brought a knife to a gunfight, Gretchen? And I was like, what's going on? I don't know why it was that specifically that I was like, I'm so confused. And I was like...
I don't know. It's just stuff like that just threw me off. I was like, wait, what's happening? It's just everything that's either been that was said or just shown, I just kept... It was just left me with questions more so than just...
Part of me wonders if it's intentionally red herring, another kind of bird. But like, if it was supposed to be like, here are details that do not matter, but we will show you them anyway.
Yes.
Possibly. Because that does happen. And I do kind of wonder, because I did try to read some people's reactions to this. And a lot of people were like, honestly, I don't think this movie's actually about much. I think it's a whole lot of like detail for the sake of detail.
I think that's what it is, because in the trailer alone it made it feel like it was something more to it. And then especially when I feel like the 2/3 of this movie was just built up to something. Maybe I don't know, maybe it was gonna be something revealing, or it's just gonna be some horror element.
It's because the horror element reveal was underwhelming, but I'll tell you what, I thought this movie was still a lot of fun. I genuinely had a great time watching it, and outside things, but I was like, I love the atmosphere. I think it's like so good looking. It's beautiful. I think that the performances are fun, and obviously going for it because Dan Stevens is insane in this movie.
I love Dan Stevens a lot, and then Hunter Schafer as well.
I
wish I got to see more of Jessica Henwick though.
Yeah, both of those like the side people.
Or even like the dad, I forgot his name, but
you know who I like? The person that was the clerk, the hotel clerk.
Oh, the girl?
Yeah. I liked their interactions, and then she doesn't really have much to do after a certain point. Whenever, even the interactions when they're like going over how to service someone at the hotel, like after 10 or whatever, I thought the whole interactions of really odd specific things were really cool. Because that first night where the person walks in and then walks out and they're like not paying attention to anything, and then that person never shows up.
What were your thoughts on the girl that's supposed to be that was going to take Gretchen to Paris?
I thought that was just supposed to show the whole rebellious idea of, and also to give the movie an ending.
Okay, because like I was like, why did she? I don't know. I just thought, who was she talking to at the hospital, with the one guy there? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
I don't know what was that about.
I won't lie to you. This is when I think this lady was talking really loud. So
okay. Well, because like I don't know what that's supposed to mean, because maybe she's supposed to forget everything, but then at the very end she shows up and it's like her driving.
They did say Gretchen. No, wait. She did say something along the lines of like, they have me here or something like that, right? Because they never let her leave until a certain point. Yeah. Because I was just like, why is this character still here? I was like, well, I guess you can't go to Paris yet, right? But I liked that lady too, and then there was no like actual development outside of like, hey, come with me. Like,
basically.
Well, why?
It's like, okay.
And I think this movie kind of gets stuck a little bit on its sort of surface level trying to. It's actually kind of funny. I think this movie.
Maybe if they said less and just showcased more too.
Right. I think it's more about the idea that I was like, maybe cut the details. Actually, maybe like let us. I know some people have that issue with horror movies where they're like, well, they got out of it by not explaining anything.
Yeah.
But then you get into this situation where you like
just keep throwing a lot of details, and you're like, I'm confused.
Yeah, and then you're like, but the thing is, it's not even confused to the point where I'm like, oh my god, I gotta Google what happened at the end of this. It was more like you gave me too many details about the wrong thing, because I was like, what is the story you're trying to tell me here? Because now I'm not confused about the message of the movie. I told you what I think this is about. I'm confused as to why these characters didn't get more to do.
Basically.
Yeah.
Because at the end, it's what you said. It's just literally, I don't know. Because at the end, it felt like cool. Gretchen considers her stepsister sister. That's it. Just
like that's the character.
Blood or no blood.
Yeah.
She's my sister.
And that's the character arc you got, right?
And that's what we got.
I did actually love the sort of sciencey look of the rooms too. I kind of wish. Did you keep getting this feeling like I was like, I wish I could have seen more of that actually? Like, I think it's a testament to how much I really enjoyed this movie, and I want to keep iterating that because then I feel like for every single thing that I'm like, man, I wish I just could have seen more of it, and like not even in the sense of like, oh, keep coming back for more. No, I'm like, no, I wanted to see more of like. The whole idea of experimenting, keeping her in that like room.
Yes.
When they first take her there, and that whole thing where they're like, that girl that's there too.
Yes.
And then there's this thing they do with her face where they kind of you don't realize how young she is until they really show you, and I'm like, that's a great detail. I think, because like it shows that they're training them for all these years.
Yes. To
be doing this, which I think is great.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I like the one question where I asked myself, it was like, how many do they have?
Yeah.
And like, how long have they been doing this too?
No, because then they kept saying, I think it's funny. Dan Stevens originally is trying to keep it a secret. He's like, no, don't go out after 10.
Yes.
Because I guess you're like, does he care for her, or
it's like they,
or does he care for this stuff and he doesn't want it to be?
Are they kept in a cage and let loose free around that time?
There was an implication about that I thought that that's what they were going for. Is that is exactly what, because I think that they even say something about that, but it's more implied than anything else. But I thought it was funny. This movie kind of mirrors its main character in that it's like trying to be really cool, but then like it can't quite reach its own sort of feeling. Yeah. But is there any other negatives you have here with this?
No, not really.
No? No. Your negatives like mostly just that it's like kind of it gives you too much detail about.
I don't know about that. It's just more. It leaves me with more questions, but not type of questions where I was like, "Oh my god, I want to watch this again." So it's like maybe find the answers to it, but more so in the fact of like, I wish the movie was a bit longer.
It's what 90 something minutes without credits. Yeah,
and I guess it should have let this with, but I feel like also the right type of questions too. Yeah, the questions where it would ask us the audience to think about more so, and just. Basically have us have the implications of what these characters are, what they're trying to go for, and like the goals.
Because I am a little confused about that. What is everyone's goal here exactly?
Well, it's obvious Gretchen doesn't want to be there. Yeah, like I get that.
She tries leaving like twice, and then she gets stuck there.
And then it's weird because it's like Dan Stevens' character's like, just stay away, don't do anything. And you're like, I'm so confused. She's trying to leave, and you're not letting her.
Yeah, and you're like. Is it because the parents want her there, but then
the parents don't even care for her to be there?
That's another thing. I'm like, why are they so sort of like passive about everything happening around?
And if the goal was to like keep these species alive, because that's what Dan Stevens' character is about, why not try to keep as many women as you can there to impregnate them?
Well, I think that's more about like trying to. Is this also about like trying to breed the perfect kind of?
I don't think it's the perfect kind of, but it's just because to preserve something that's dying. Yeah. Right. And I think I can understand that aspect in terms of when it comes to like science, when it comes to like all the scientist stuff and everything. Yeah. But that's why I ask myself questions like that too, where I'm like, why not keep her too? Yeah. You know, she's already there.
At the end of it, I think this movie was. Not mismarketed. It was more like I was anticipating, and I hate like the whole anticipation versus what you actually got thing. But I think this movie, the way it was marketed, you were 100% expecting this kind of like haunted house vibe type of movie, and what you get is a really strange sort of surreal sci-fi horror thing that's more about, I mean, it's as experimental as the experiments going on in the movie. And you're like, I think that there's a lot of cool visual stuff here. The entire,
I'm starting to really like Dan Stevens' character right now.
He's great in it.
Where he's just like killing his own like workers too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he does do that. Yeah. There's a line he has that's so funny.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
Is it when he's like, "Do you still have the tapes that you recorded behind my back?"
Yeah. I was like, and she's like, "Yeah." Boom, boom, boom. I was like, what? It's just when you mentioned it now, it's very cartoonish. I was like, oh my god, it was.
But that's not a negative. I know that people say that like stuff is negatives. We are like positive about that stuff as long as it makes sense tonally.
Yeah.
Because
Leland, you said it's like what you said too. It just kept going up and down a lot.
Yeah.
Until the very end.
It would be like really sincere about the type of horror it was. Like there'd be jump scares, and you'd be like, okay, it's going for scary, and then it would pivot tone completely.
Yes.
And then go for. Because we said that not a lot of people have seen this movie. If you haven't seen A Cure for Wellness, that movie's amazing.
Yes.
And that movie grows on me the more and more I see it. I've seen it quite a few times now. I remember we watched that like for the first time. We were like, this movie's like crazy. And
we're like, what is this?
Yeah. It's great. This reminded me a lot of that. Like in terms of, although for me, I think that movie's better. But
than this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because it's the same sort of experiment, what's going on. And I'm not trying to compare this to some random movie though. Like I still think I want more horror movies that are weird, mad science.
Yes, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, I like the ideas that were placed in this movie. I just think when it comes to the execution, it could have been better.
The execution, I think,
or maybe it just took a different style. Because
100% this movie suffers because of the amount of style it has, and
I just. Also, it's just what we talked about earlier, where I think it just should have let the characters do their thing. Yeah. It showed more action, not in terms of just like explosions and everything, but action towards what the characters, the settings, and like just the environment alone, and let that do the talking, and us, the audience, think. Yeah. And less like just talk.
It's so weird
using dialogue as a way to like progress their arcs or like the story itself as well.
It's so weird to have the critique. Hey, maybe make it more confusing because like. Fully commit to your I don't want to fully explain everything that's going on, because then this movie kind of gets stuck in a little bit of a middle ground where I'm like, you told me too much and too little, and I'm a little bit apprehensive towards accepting like
because I think they told us too much about what the experiments were, what they were trying to go for, cool, but I think the too little aspect was more so of what the characters that we were left at the end of the movie as well. Yeah,
because now I have more questions. Maybe this movie is more concerned about. They're like, we need you to know what the experiments are to get like our big twist out of the way. But then I'm like, but now I'm confused as to why we didn't get enough of the people we're supposed to be caring about. Yes. So now we're left with the question of not even the movie itself. It's more like
because I do like what you said about the step parents. Yeah. Yes, but I felt I got so little of it. From this movie, like the dynamic and just seeing, because I think there was only one scene where I actually felt that. Yeah, it was whenever at the hospital when Gretchen was at, and then the daughter was there too.
But then I keep thinking that no, and then they say I can't be at the hospital. I have to go back to, like whatever for work. Yeah, and I'm like, you guys don't do anything. Yeah, like, what are you talking
about? You're literally like helping them like sell this or something.
No, and I was like, all I have seen you guys do in this movie is sit there on that couch and. Like there's nothing going on there. I don't know what Jessica Henwick's motivation was. I don't know what the dad like was thinking outside of the fact that I'm
Jessica Henwick's supposed to be like the motherly figure to the little sister. That's it.
I guess so, but then
I only got one like a semblance of what she wanted was at the very end when she gets separated from the little girl, and that's it. Yeah.
Overall, it sounds like we didn't like this movie, but I did. I think
I liked it. Of course, I had like a few things about it where I just didn't either connect with or I just didn't like.
Let me address why I'm giving this the score I am, though. I think, despite all things, the style in this movie is awesome. It looks so cool. I think it's a lot of fun still, even if it gets caught in its own plot points. Yeah, a lot. So I'm like really torn here between 3.5 and 4.
Dude, me too. I was thinking the same thing. But I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Are you really?
Yeah. Just because I know I liked it. Yeah. But I don't know. I just want to see if there's a director's cut or something.
I doubt it. But maybe. How about this? 3.5 for me as well for now. Mm. But if I watch this again and then like maybe we'll address it like offhandedly in like a podcast. I don't make a whole nother video about it. Yeah. But I'll be like, hey, I saw it again. I have a different thought.
Cuckoo? 10 years later?
This movie actually great? Question mark? Get a bunch
Cult
of articles
classic.
about that. Yeah. This movie has had the potential for that. Yeah. I don't know how well it's doing in terms of like box office or anything. But I had a lot of fun watching it. You will leave with more questions than answers. And not...
Why was the lady talking the entire time? Why was she feeding him food this entire time?
Like birds? Like
oh my god. Maybe she was a cuckoo.
Maybe. Not even in the way that you think though. So, overall we liked it. We have a lot of like questions about this movie. Not even in terms of in the I saw the TV glow way, more in like a why not do this?
Yeah.
But I do recommend it. I would say watch it if you're curious about it at all.
Yes, I would say watch it too.
Yeah. Erwin, what's up next?
Dude, I don't know. You make the schedule.
You never know. All right, we're reviewing a movie I'm excited for and a movie that I like the trailer for and nobody else does.
Blink Twice and The Crow.
Yeah.
There we go.
Because you told me that
because ever since I've seen The Crow, I'm like, whoa, The Crow is great. Like the original. And I've been reading a lot about how many people people dislike. I just dropped something. I don't know.
Nah, this is Blu-ray.
My bad. That they just dislike the trailer. And at first, like after watching The Crow and watching the trailer, I'm like, okay, I can see why they dislike it. Yeah. Just because it feels like a complete polar opposite of what The Crow was.
Now, my benefit here is I haven't seen The Crow since I was really young. Yeah. So I'm sort of torn on if we should like let you be the person that's seen it more recently and me come at it like more unbiased. Yeah. But then I also want to watch it again. So
no, I mean, I'm going to watch it again just to get a feel for it one more time, even though I just saw it like a couple of months ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so just so we can get ready for that one.
And Blink Twice looks awesome. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Channing Tatum lead again.
Dude,
I was thinking about 21 Jump Street again.
Yeah. He's always just like in stuff for a little bit and then he disappears. And then you never know he's in it. He keeps doing that.
Yeah. Stop doing that. Lead stuff.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. What are they going to do?
They're going to like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do. What did you think of this? Also, what did you think that this movie was about? And if you loved it, we would also like to know. Did you love it?
Leave comments down below.
Did you hate it? Or were you somewhere between?
I wasn't.
Thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll see you next time.